The maximum penalties of all of those counts carry up to, they could all run consecutively, one after the other, or they could run concurrently. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Pryor,
You just heard Chad Daybell saying he understands he could face the death penalty or life in prison if convicted in the murders of his first wife, Tammy, and Lori Daybell's children, JJ and Tylee. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm Kelly Chapman.
And I'm Bob Evans. Chad Daybell will now be arraigned in 2 weeks. But today's court date for his wife, Lori, was postponed.
Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher joins us in studio to explain what could be holding things up. Lauren.
Yeah, Kelly, so Chad showed up in court first this morning, heard the charges, set a future court date. Lori's attorney, on the other hand, is arguing there was a reason not to go forward with her case just yet.
One court hearing was procedural as a straight-faced Chad Daybell heard out loud.
That charge relates to the death of Tamra Daybell.
The charges against him in the murders of his first wife, Tammy, and Lori's children, JJ and Tylee. The fact that Chad could face the death penalty.
Mr. Daybell, is that correct?
That is correct.
But the other initial appearance...
The court is going to continue this initial appearance.
Continued for who knows how long because of exigent circumstances, Judge Farron Eden said.
And so here comes the defense saying, time out. Slow down.
Defense attorney and former prosecutor Nathan Evershed explains the defense is already behind the 8 ball with the indictment and will need to catch up. This is a way to take a time out, he says, and strategize.
And what it does is that it slows things down a bit to help explore the kinds of defenses that are out there. And in this case, there are probably many different kinds of defenses. There could be an insanity defense. There could be a compulsion defense. There could be a mental illness kind of defense.
It's hard to know. Why is Chad moving forward and Lori holding back? Also a common strategy, Evershed says, that potentially shows Lori and Chad's attorneys are separating the cases, getting ready to point the finger at each other.
They could just say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this wasn't me, or their attorney saying this wasn't my client, this was the other person that was charged. My client wasn't a part of it. So for a variety of reasons, it's a good idea for defense attorneys to try to separate this as much as they can and get on 2 different tracks.
Yesterday, former FBI Special Agent Frank Montoya Jr. told me the prosecution appeared to already be arguing against a potential insanity defense, which you can find in that indictment, because they say that Chad and Lori used religious beliefs to justify the murders. But at the end of the day, they argue that those murders were calculated and premeditated. Live in studio, Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Lauren, thank you. Chad Daybell will be arraigned on June 9th. Now, that date also happens to be the 1-year anniversary of the discovery of JJ and Tylee's remains. The 2 children's bodies were buried on Chad's property in Salem, Idaho, and were later identified as the children. Chad was also taken into custody that day after being pulled over about a mile from his Idaho home.